Okay, I suggest to start. So we have more than 100 people registered. We have 40 participants now. So I think that we were scheduling this event to happen for 1 hour. I don't think that we should use more of your time. So let's be polite to those who arrive on time, and let's start it. So I welcome all of you at our networking meeting, and the organizers of this event are here. We are kind of an initiative group. We are not part of a project, but we are working together at the same department at Kharkiv Polytechnic Institute, National Technical University, Kharkiv Polytechnic Institute, Ukraine. And objective today is to bring together like-minded people from business and academia in order to share opinions on the state of the problem. But now, as we have more people, okay, I do not have my presentation on. I was just advised. Is it now on? Could you? And I've introduced my team, and it is on, but it is not shared. Right. Yeah. Is it now? So I was introducing my team. It is Natalia Shiryaeva, Elizabeth Simenko, Antonella Damkevich, and Olena Chaikova. So not my team, our team, people who do that meeting today. And I'm grateful to all of you that you've joined us. And Natalia or Elizaveta, if I do something terribly wrong, just don't wait. Tell me right now so that I will improve. So do you see my screen right now?
Yes.
Yes, that's great. Yeah. So back to the presentation. So objective is to bring together like-minded people from business and academia in order to share opinions on the state of the problem, to identify the immediate tools to address it, and to initiate a collaborative community of practice on the topic. So basically, that's the way how we proceed today. And we will try to achieve this objective of meeting and networking through I have also to mute some of you, right? Mute all. Yes. So I suggest to use our Zoom chat to communicate, to ask questions, and I will ask perhaps Natalia and Elizaveta to tell me the questions. We'll start with a short overview of registration results and how we see the problem right now, and then some of the ideas that we have on the International Business for Zero model. And further on this, we will proceed to these networking ideas that we have. So perhaps enough of that, and let's move further. So the registration results. So as for now, we had over 171 person registered either through our form or through the LinkedIn event. And this is precisely 5 continents and 53 countries. And it is, I think it is important also to emphasize that we have 91 participants from emerging economies, 80 from developed countries. So if you look at the map, it looks like this. The most active in registration were, of course, Ukraine, India, United States, United Kingdom, but you can see also Australia and Brazil, Canada as also active, and those who are interested in what we're doing. So actually for us, it was an astonishment. We thought that perhaps we will have 30 registration for this event. And the fact that so many people are interested, so many colleagues are interested in that, this is quite a signal. So I think that really we're interested to discuss this topic, and it looks like this topic is really understudied so far. So as for the registration results, further as for the areas, we had 110 people from higher education interested to be part of that. Some of them, of course, were saying that please send us afterwards some information, links, and so forth. So we will do that. But at the same time, 27 people from industry, 23 from business service, and as well as self-employed and government. And the reason why we had so many people from higher education is, of course, because many of you are from Academy of International Business. I was using this the list of this academy to invite colleagues from universities. And again, the fact that so many colleagues, 110, are interested in this discussion, I believe it also kind of is demonstrating that we have a lot to do together, perhaps, or the way we find appropriate. Anyway, the job has to be done. And so that's so far what we have on the registration. And as for the problem that we're trying to discuss and to address is, I would say it could be divided into two parts. One is that still, so I mean, even not about the dividing into parts, but the fact that we have kind of the issue of the fourth industrial revolution and its impact on international business, because we want to address in particular international business management issues. This is kind of a challenge because on one hand, still in the research community, we still are debating if this is the same, the fourth industrial revolution, Industry 4.0, digital economy. Perhaps we do not need at all to talk about this, but we could use broader terms like knowledge economy and to use tools like technology entrepreneurship to discuss these issues. So on one hand, we have kind of still a discussion, what's going on, what is happening. And on the other hand, in the research area, we still, I would say, have quite few publications. Of course, we have Klaus Schwab, the fourth industrial revolution, heavily cited, but it is heavily cited in many other fields. Okay, I have to increase. How can I? Shush. Perhaps I will. I was asked to increase the microphone, but Natalia, you were the one who was sending this message. Do you hear me?
I hear you pretty well, and the message
so
was
because if I go into the microphone settings, I'm out for 20 minutes.
No, it's okay in my.
Okay, so let me keep.
Okay.
Trying to formulate, what I'm saying. So back to Klaus Schwab, the fourth industrial revolution. So we have a lot of citations on that in different fields of studies, in particular technology areas. The colleagues from companies, from tech companies are discussing this a lot, economists, politologists. But as for when we look into the management studies, perhaps the best was the overview done by Piccarozzi, Aquilani, and Gatti in 2018, and Industry 4.0 in management studies, a systematic literature review. And it revealed that, yes, there is some already interest and there are publications, but we have several dozens, perhaps, publications in this area. And so even in the area of management studies, yet not much is done. As for the international business studies, perhaps the major publication here is from Strange and Zuccella, to 2017, Industry 4.0 Global Value Chains and International Business, and also Liu publication of Liu, International Competitiveness and the Fourth Industrial Revolution. And finally, also Dan Lorraine, the Fourth Industrial Revolution, 7 Lessons from the Past. Those are the major publications in international business studies areas. So it looks like something is happening. It is huge in terms of politics, in terms of economists, in terms of technology experts, in terms of governments. There is a lot of debates going on about Fourth Industrial Revolution and Industry 4.0. And at the same time, the research, the findings, how the companies or that are doing international business could, should respond, and how they are responding to that are still scarce. That's the reason we kind of decided to have this conversation and to boost interests of colleagues to that, because again, the feeling is that if the phenomena of the fourth industrial revolution is not only kind of an opportunity, but also it could be kind of a challenge, and COVID-19 suggested that this is more like a challenge for businesses, and moreover, the fourth industrial revolution in the worst scenario can even, I wouldn't say ruin global economy, but could have a great negative impact on the businesses that are in it right now. And the reason is simple, because the markets are changing swiftly, and the global equilibrium, let me say, would move fast. And at one morning, many companies figure out that they do not have any more markets like they had. And we for instance, in higher education, in universities, I think many of our colleagues would agree that what we observe in higher education, for instance, is also kind of a great challenge. And maybe this great challenge is happening also because of the fourth industrial revolution as well. So if we do not take romantic view on that, but kind of a little bit pessimistic way of view, and pessimistically absorb the issue that it's really happening, it's really redefining global business, it's really affecting companies, then the question is what to do about that. And can we wait another 10 years or 5 years to come up with some research? Yes, we could, but there is one more development simultaneously happening. This is the sustainability issue, because the climate change, all other challenges that we observe, they make the world very vulnerable. So the challenge is simple. If international companies at some moment become insolvent, they are not resilient to these global issues, and at the same time we have the sustainability issues and so forth globally. Even for me, the recent developments in the United States that we observe right now, in Washington a week ago, this is also could be the result of the fourth industrial revolution. So my argument here is that, can we wait for another 5 or 10 years to figure out what is happening as the community, as the experts community, or should we take a more drastic approach to that? And should we wait, for instance, for World Economic Forum to do the job for us, or should we also kind of try to network on our own? So basically, that's the reason why we are trying to raise awareness and raise this discussion. I think that now we can have a kind of a little break or stop for the questions. Natalia, you are monitoring. I do not have enough mental strength to do that. So Natalia, could you please share what we have?
Well, there is one comment from Tomer Raz. It's about the Industrial Revolution, the fourth Industrial Revolution that started in 2015. It's already celebrating 60 years. And some countries have been already moved from research to production in many cases. So we can talk on that, can give some arguments, discuss, and there are two more comments. The second is from Tomer Raz. It's about the COVID implication that affected, this pandemic affected incredibly all spheres, as we know. And Tomer, probably you want to say it out loud for all the audience, because these two are main comments from you and one from Natalia Krasnoklutskaya about the European Commission publication about the transferring from Industry 4.0 to Industry 5.0. So it's really interesting too. Okay.
Oh, basically, all I say that it's not when we talk about revolution, it's something that will last many years, and as it was in the past. Right now, after the COVID, company that are not become digital, they will have a problem. Part of them then don't have a time for revolution, don't have time to change culture, but it's part of the change. they will need some technological solution that will that they could create benefit from that. Unfortunately, we have a factory. I'm from Israel, by the way, from Coca-Cola, Carlsberg, a few companies around Israel. And one of the factories is closed since yesterday, because there are so many years there that they just locked down, they closed the factory, and it's since yesterday. 2 years ago, we start talking about robots. We start talking about AI. We talked about mobile controlling from outside the factory. The reason in Israel it was not a COVID. The reason was because we had not exactly war, but problems.
Security.
With, missiles around us. So we need to find some solution to produce without people near the lines. And we decided we decided not to invest money in that. In part of this revolution, you find some a small solution for the problems. And right now, we understand that we need to do something different a year ago. And I was a few times in Hanover, and not in 15. I started to not for me.
I'm trying to figure out what's happening. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Tomer, I've muted everybody, but please unmute yourself now.
So basically, all I say that I understand that if I sum everything, all I say that yes, we have a revolution. The revolution started 5 years ago. Most of the companies, of course, don't have the money, the resources, the culture changing to be part of this kind of revolution. But on the other hand, there are many cases of factory that was changed. Management that was changed. Even in Israel, I know I've been in Europe many times, in Germany, and I saw some changes. We did a huge project in Turkey last year. Of course, the COVID finished everything. With one of the companies called, the name of the company is PTC. It's well known, that could create a nice connection between the lines themselves and the headquarters with IIoT, of course. And then when you are using the IIoT and AI together and put the data in the cloud, it's answering to part or to crucial parts of the industrial revolution, as I see it. So this is an example that's something that's working. So
I think it was an excellent case. And I think that actually why we meet one more idea that sparkled from what you say, that we need more cases right now like this, because this is happening in companies. And the COVID, it's like hammer on the head. But as you said, it started earlier. And again, the revolution, it's very kind of romantic in terms of like Industry 4.0. It's so good, let's be part of that. But if this is a threat, because revolutions in economic terms means that lots of what people were used to do is obsolete. That means unemployment. That means closure. That means that a lot of things that we were used to do becomes ineffective. So that's the challenge. And I would say that we could wait it to happen in a natural way somehow. Let's find out how it will get out of it. If there were not 8 million of us, a billion of us on our planet, and if it would not be all on the brink of sustainability.
Totally agree.
Right. So that's why bringing these cases together, discussing, bringing best practices, because I think companies should share these, and not only at the level of CEOs, because one thing is CEOs, another thing is sharing between heads of branches and so forth. This is what we are kind of thinking should be done and could be done. And it is the opportunity, of course, because all of this is now available. We have these IT technologies. We could have the initiatives like we have now to tackle this. So in order to just again start the discussion, what could be done about that? We are suggesting something like international business capability maturity model. I mean, not suggesting, but kind of suggesting to think about that, because it looks like companies that want to survive and to the fourth industrial revolution, they should rethink their capabilities set. And our perspective is that you should add as part of the daily practices of the companies, not only digitalization, because many companies have, this is a must, also agilization. What does it mean? How this could be done in practical terms, as well as future thinking, because the way to deal with the to be faster in this fourth industrial revolution world is to develop the future thinking capability in the company. We understand that there are challenges. So what, for instance, recently we were part of the conference on Philippines on the future studies, great conference, and we have friends from this conference participating right now here. And one of our presentation was that the future thinking and corporate foresight capability is not part of the international business discussion currently. So again, we have a lot of people doing incredible research and who have incredible ideas in future studies, but in systematic way, in terms of daily management of the companies, this is yet not, if it might be a practice, but not a regular practice, more like innovation. So the question is how to bring this into strategy, how to bring this into innovation, what could be marketing like in this term, and how the companies would learn. I think that we could discuss this later, I mean, asynchronously using other platforms, not because we have half of an hour left for our discussion today, but basically let's think how the successful company, at least what is the vision of the company that can survive the fourth industrial revolution. And of course cases would be really helpful. And the second notion is that what could be done, I mean, not what could be done, but the second notion is that the companies nowadays do not survive on themselves. That's the global value chains that compete. So the question is about the ability of companies to join global value chains and to be part of the global value chains, where future thinking, digitalization, agilization become part of the whole value chain. So again, I think there is a lot to discuss and to talk. As for me, I have published a short these thoughts as a short opinion in Kharkiv Observer. I have the poster behind of me of this online media. How will international business survive the fourth industrial revolution? and at the same time, I suggest my colleagues from research as well as from business services as well of industry also to share their opinions about these questions. How will international business survive the fourth industrial revolution? So, I suggest to share those opinions at the through networking tools that we are suggesting. But as you can see at the last line, more ideas are welcome. But before going to this networking part, I think Natalia, perhaps we have more opinions maybe, or ideas that we should hear regarding this this conversation that we had with Tomer right now.
Yeah, should I unmute myself?
Yes.
Yeah, there was a comment and a question from Horatio. Horatio, could you please unmute yourself and ask the question? Because it's probably would be better if you do it by your own.
Okay, thank you, Natalia, and thank you, Taras. And I want to say send greetings to my colleagues on this call. I find this very interesting, and I was just trying to think if we are approaching the point where we can start to figure out exactly how this fourth industrial revolution is really different from what we have seen before, and is beyond our toolkit of theories in business and management, because we have some ideas about how to deal with change. Is it that we're approaching extreme uncertainty? Is it that we are approaching what seems like a chaotic environment, or an extremely highly dynamic environment? There are ideas in strategy, for example, real options. Reasoning says that if there's uncertainty, wait and see what happens. And then if the change turns out to be positive, capitalize on it. So waiting, there is value in waiting. So if there are projects that you can hold off and let some of the uncertainty resolve, then that could work. There are ideas around dynamic capabilities that you have to figure out a way to recombine your resource and activities to match the changes in your environment. And there are also ideas around sense-making perspective that says, when you're unsure of what is happening, try something and see what happens. And what matters is not so much the uncertainty that is far away, but whether or not you can transform your local environment and make it more predictable. So I think it will be helpful to see what is happening and where we stand, and whether or not our current toolkit of theoretical ideas can be of help.
Thank you, Horatio, for the support, and yeah, and we are eager to collaborate on that with you in the future. Natalia, do we have?
Yeah, there are two more questions from David Austin and Xin Min here. Sorry if I named you incorrectly. Okay, David, please unmute your microphone, and you have really nice questions to answer. So it's really a question for good discussion.
Good morning or good afternoon, wherever you happen to be. Hi. Yeah, basically, you know, I'm an industrialist, if you want to call me that. I build stuff. I'm a construction guy, and you know, the overall picture of the fourth industrial revolution, as I've been recently studying it. So let's say I'm new to the 4IR. the fourth industrial revolution and potentially even the fifth industrial revolution, if anybody's read about that. But potentially it's unavoidable. And the previous comment that was made, that when faced with uncertainty, you have options, either to do nothing and wait to see what is the best outcome, or possibly create options, try things in the near future that will affect the long term. If I'm not misconstruing the previous answer, it's something I completely agree with. But I think my point that I'm trying to get at is that here we all are, a rare gathering of people who are interested in this topic, and we're all discussing it now. What are we going to do as a group, let's say, to spread the word and make it a much larger group of people who are interested in the implications of the fourth industrial revolution as it affects not just businesses and global thinking, but as it affects the individual. So almost like, as I was recently exposed to, that in Amazon, if you work in Amazon, they have core values. And something that, you know, I've been looking at in all of the 4IR Industrial Revolution material is that there are values, and I think sort of we as a group need to organize and market those values. So it's a case of how do we take this meeting of minds, if you like, and turn it into something that becomes a household word, if the fourth industrial revolution can become that. But it's got to become something that everybody understands that they're a part of. It's not just CEOs, it's the guy on the production line, to understand how we integrate our lives into a new way of living. Reading one article that I was looking at was, the first industrial revolution started with consumption of energy and power, and we turned it to good use. But now we've exceeded those parameters, and now we've got to go a different direction, take a tangent. And people are still locked mindset into the first, second, and third industrial revolution. We've got to, and they're used to it. They live with it every day. We're using products of the third industrial revolution. How do we change that? And how do we get the message out? So, is it marketing and money? And is that what we need? Do we need sponsors?
Yeah, we actually, this is also great because just to pick up on the last phrase, do we have tool to measure where we live? I mean, I have a feeling that many universities are still in the second industrial revolution. I would not say third. So, and if you are the university as an entity in the second industrial revolution, and you are polluting minds of kids with ideas of the second industrial revolution, and then they go and they have to survive in the fourth or fifth industrial revolution world, for instance. So, I mean, how do we assess if we are relevant at what we do? This is another challenge. Do we have a tool for companies? Do we have a tool for industries to check our relevance? Okay, Natalia, I will proceed perhaps with the last slides because we according to my timing, we are kind of almost approaching the limit.
My apologies, I talk too much.
No, it's fine. It's anyway. So as for the networking tools, so one of the networking tools that I suggest could be the LinkedIn. So of course, like they say, consume responsibly for some products. The LinkedIn group, you don't have the question or the issue with the networking tools always is to apply them in the right way so that they support each other rather than contradict, or you do not rely on the only one as the ultimate solution, because all of us understand pros and cons of LinkedIn, but I understand that as for the community that we have today, most of us are LinkedIn users. So one of the ways is to join our group, and this group actually, this is the group was founded in April 2013, but it was a little bit different agenda of the group. I was trying to talk about international high technology B2B marketing, whatever it means, and we didn't have a lot of people part of the discussion. But I think, again, these new generations of technologies coming one after another, this is this is the good example of the issues of tuning marketing to that. So I've decided, why not to make this group bigger, and why not to tune it to the international business model. I call it international business 4.0, like an idea. So we do not have this answer, what is international business 4.0, but we have the hope or ideal that some companies, our companies, have to make it. So that's why we discuss, we suggest to start talking about this model of the international business 4.0 as a model, and to have this group as an open source repository of information from different sources on that, and as well as a synchronous networking venue where we can kind of connect whenever we find it suitable. Also, one more idea is to have what I call agile series of thematic online sessions. So when we really tackle the issues where business, international business is interested, or where research community has the answer to share that is relevant to fourth industrial revolution phenomena. So why not we have online sessions that are, of course, better prepared than this one. So that currently the objective was to have networking, but for the future we would have presentations, we would have speakers, and I invite all of you who would be interested to become part of that, to contact me, to join me, and we shouldn't be. I think the pace, we can select the right pace, realistic pace to develop the quality events. But if we would have at least 3 more on this year events that are targeting specific issues for international business and implications of the fourth industrial revolution for international business, it would be great. Also, Kharkiv Observer, I'm advertising this platform as a tool for sharing ideas. We will prepare the highlights report of this meeting with everything kind of wrapped together and sent to everybody who have registered for that event, because some people would register but apologize that they have other plans and cannot join or whatever. So perhaps through that tool as well, people would join us, as well as perhaps these people would join our next thematic sessions. So that's the final stop. So for us to discuss where we go from here in terms of networking, and in terms of learning from each other more. And here I stop. And Natalia, do we have perhaps some ideas in the chat regarding the networking process, or maybe some of participants would like to raise a hand and to join this discussion?
Yes, it was nice comment from Ximin here. So, well, we have now time to discuss your comment, and it was partly answered during the discussion with David. What are the really new in IR X.0? So you were already talked a little bit about that, but we now have some time to discuss this as well. And yes, please can you unmute yourself, and so we will discuss it live.
Thank you, Natalia.
Yeah.
And greetings from Durham University in England. I'm an academic. I'm actually professor in international strategy. So it's fascinating to see different versions of industrial revolution, not only in the EU, but also in other countries as well. As a researcher, what really interests me is to actually capture the essence of this revolution in different contexts. And then as researchers, we can actually check our arsenal of theories to examine whether we need new theories or we can actually use the current theories. For instance, I cannot help but thinking whether these new challenges actually require firm to develop new resources and capabilities. And that's actually old thinking of RBV. We can perhaps also use the current institutional theory for some insights. So actually, I'm very happy to be part of the community to establish international collaboration if anybody has new ideas or new data, so we can actually work together to have that impact. So thank you very much.
Thank you for your comment. That's well, you mentioned RBV, and I've already kind of, and dynamic capabilities and all of that. This is the way where our discussion could go, I think. And so I suggest, as we are wrapping up, so again, just to think together if it's enough for now to have a LinkedIn group, if and I'm looking forward to get your I mean to meet some of you. I know many of you. I've just had this opportunity to go through the screens of participants, and it's great that I see so many familiar faces, and I'm hoping that we will talk later what could be done, and I'm looking also forward for your feedback, if you can share this with me. And so anyway, one last call.
One last call from Mr. Mayank. Yep. So please, he asked for a small comment. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Hello, everybody, and thanks for the opportunity. I've been a student from Kharkov Polytech, so it's very much a privilege to be in this meeting. And I joined in 1989. My department was called Automation and Telemechanics. And even when I was graduating, we didn't have much idea this revolution will be coming after 20 years. But right now, I just wanted to share one note. In 2005, I was at Harvard Business School with Professor Mikhail Tushman. He's a professor of innovation, and he was sharing his talk with the president of Harvard, he said that I am trying to pursue our president that we should go online, and he is categorically not accepting. And you see the University of Arizona and this thing. This was 2005. And now in 2020, this whole thing becomes sort of a mandatory thing. So this is something what Professor Taras was saying about where most of the universities in which revolution they live. I mean, just supporting that education has been very conservative, and we have to take the pace of outside world just to keep our education sector and higher education, not only higher education, general education, work with the industry and the external environment. And the second notion, all our economists are working how we increase the consumption, but I think we have to think how to minimize the consumption to make it more sustainable. This is about other comment of 8 billion. So there is a paradox. All the economy theory works how to increase the production, how to increase the consumption, but the theory of sustainability want how to minimize the consumption. So we have to find the answer in that dilemma also. These were my thoughts I wanted to share.
And this dilemma also highlights the challenge for the very international economic system.
Exactly, because these are all, yes.
Because this is a paradox that kind of has no answer so far, but kind of this is existential question for humanity. It's simple said. Okay.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you,
I think that we are approaching the final line, and perhaps we can make kind of a final photo. And if we have more comments, then please join LinkedIn and let's discuss this together over there. And or the team that I've introduced earlier, you can see all of us in this LinkedIn group. Natalia, Olena, Elizabeth, Antonella. So really, we want to facilitate. We want to facilitate this discussion and really to move this forward. Okay, Natalia, how we will
I ask everybody to turn on your cams and let us make a join.
Should we smile or should we be kind of scared of the fourth industrial revolution?
Well, depends on your mood today. So I would be happily do all these faces.
Pretend like nothing is happening, right?
Yeah, but first, Taras, please, probably you need to unshare your screen. So just
yeah.
We could see everybody on
the
screen.
Is it better now?
Yeah, it's really nice. Everybody looks great. So please make your face you want to see after and smile. Okay. One more, please, because I can't handle all on one screen. So again, smile, please. Okay. Yeah, that's really nice to see all of you. Yes.
There was a button on the system that allowed you to improve your picture, but it hasn't worked for me. I mean, what's gone on here?
Well,
you know, I still look as ugly as I was when I woke up this morning. What's going on?
The Snapchat tool should be added to Zoom, so we should call to Zoom comment. Yes. So, okay. So all pictures are done, and we were very happy to see all and to read all comments. If you have some more coming after the call, please use our tools for communication, and Yeah, hope to see you next.
Yeah.
yeah.
And also as for the article, it's that I've was sharing, discussing. Okay, so we will send you the report, and in the report we will have the links, and in particular, I'm available on LinkedIn. I'm available on Twitter, ResearchGate. So if you still do not have my email after all this procedure of registration, but you have obviously Antonella's email as well. So just we're looking forward to be together. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
It was great. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Nice evening.
you.
And where are you in the globe?
Thank you.
Ciao. Ciao, ciao.
So, thank you. I'm not switching off because perhaps something has to be saved and so forth. That's why.
Mhm.
Yeah, until Natalia will allow me to do that.
Yeah, don't turn your don't
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Alka sent a request to join the group, so maybe while we're waiting for everybody.
To join the
out.
LinkedIn group.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm.
I'll do that. This is a good idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, probably somebody are already
Continue
waiting
with
for
the
the
group.
joining the group. Yeah.
Oh, 9 requests to join.
Cool. It's pretty cool. Yeah, so we have some participants still in the conference. Probably they want to continue the discussion in a small.
Well, or perhaps.
Yeah,
I think
Ricardo
that it could be the
is
result.
turning on his mic. Yeah.
No, just connecting to audio. Perhaps something is happening with the devices.
Probably.
So I think that we will finish. Yeah. So everything is safe, Natalia, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's already saved.
Okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm switching it off, and perhaps that's it.
Mm-hmm.